see. Thank you so much for the introduction. So I have a very long last name. Just remember Carey and career. That's my standard line to all students because it works. And there is a flyer up at the front about all of our services, where we're located. Of course, we're located online as well. And I encourage you to take advantage of our office for all sorts of reasons, not just I'm not sure, if education is right for me, or I don't know where to take my education degree. I don't know if I want to teach. How else can I use my education degree? What else is out there for me? What's my motivation and my skills that I really want to focus on? Kind of why did I choose education in the first place, and get a little clarity around that. So I certainly help students with finding their why, and that is really your sense of purpose that keeps you going, that keeps you motivated and moving forward in your career path. But also in our office, we have 2 other staff members. So there's 3 of us total. We're a small but mighty office. And the other professionals in our office on the career success team are Michelle and Alicia, and at the very end, I will show you pictures of them and talk a little bit more about what they do as well. Okay? I am really used to moving around a room, so this is going to be definitely different for me. But apparently, since the camera's right on me, I have to stay kind of close by, and there's no remote, so I apologize for that. But anyway, so why are you here, and what is this all about? Does anybody know what an e-portfolio is? A digital portfolio is another term for it. Anybody know what that is? They all do?
They all do because they have to do one for this class.
Okay, so they have to do one, but do they know what it is?
I've introduced them to it. They've watched the video already on it.
Oh, okay.
Some of them have started theirs.
Oh, well then I really feel like I'm just going to add to what you are saying.
That's right.
Okay. So, and we may have different, takes on it too, because there are different types of digital portfolios. And for this class, I imagine the focus and the emphasis is really going to be on your professional representation, okay? However, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that, your e-portfolio isn't about perfection. It's really about you. It's really about telling your story, right? And how you built your story. Is anybody's story and journey of how they got here perfect, smooth, no bumps in the road, no challenges along the way? No, of course not. So even though your e-portfolio is about being professional because you're representing it to transfer schools, to employers, it also still really needs to reflect you. And employers really aren't looking for perfection. They are really looking to help understand your story and why you chose, what you've learned, how you've built and applied your learning to different experiences, both on campus and off campus, in your life, in your jobs, in your field experiences, and inside your classrooms. So it really, I want to make clear, it really is about all of that, not just how glossy and shiny and fancy it's supposed to look. Does that make sense? Okay. You really want to make it all about you, okay? Okay, so since you already know a little bit about what an e-portfolio is, this may be a little bit of repetition for you, but this Portfolium folio, which is the specific digital portfolio you're going to be using today and accessing today, is free to you for your life. So when you leave RVCC, you're going to have a customizable URL that you can transfer with you wherever you go. It's portable, right? So when you go to a 4-year school, if you're going right to the world of work, for the rest of your life, it is free and accessible to you, okay? And the links that you create are permalinks. It is also a place, obviously, as I said before, you're going to demonstrate your talents and your skills. It's almost like, and I'm going to show a video of a student who went through the e-portfolio process while she was here. She was our guinea pig, so to speak. She was the very first student who tried it out for us. And she'll talk to you about her experiences with it. But it really is about making your learning visible. So it is a very visual process. It's not just putting in written documents and essays. It really is going to be visual, too. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But the nice thing is that you'll get to use videos. You'll get to use images. You'll get to use audio. There's lots of ways that you can demonstrate you and your personality, your talents. Even some of your personal interests and passions can also be included in a portfolio because that is still you. It's still about your story. And you're not one-dimensional. You're not just an education student at RVCC. You have different roles that you play in your life and different interests besides what you do while you're here. Okay? It's a great way to connect your coursework and your co-curricular experiences to skills that employers value. How many times have you thought to yourself, I don't know why I have to take this class. I don't even know what I learned in that class. Does your academic transcript tell you what you learned in the class? No, it doesn't. So this is really helpful to you in identifying the skills that you've learned across your courses, not just in your education courses, but in your general courses as well. What are those skills and competencies that I have developed inside the classroom, in my club experiences, in my internships, my field experiences, my jobs, and more? Because you'll be able to use tags, competency tags, which you will get to see later on. And we'll also talk about not just sort of those field-specific, like education-specific types of tags and skills and competencies, but also career readiness ones. And we'll talk a little bit about what that is too. Okay? Again, I talked about visual evidence of your learning over time. So you'll be able to ideally put some documents and assignments from your first year here, and then you'll get to see, wow, look at how much I've grown in the time that I've been here. Look at how much I've changed. Look how much my perspectives on me and on my identity have changed and developed over time. Okay? Any questions about that? No? Okay. All right. So, why should I build a folio? Okay, some of this we've talked about already. This is really the key foundation to building your professional digital identity. Does anybody know about LinkedIn? Okay, anyone here have a LinkedIn profile yet? Okay, so a couple of people. So the nice thing about Portfolium is that it's different than LinkedIn, but it can still connect to a LinkedIn profile, as well as all your socials, which you'll get to see later. But this is really the key. It's really laying the foundation to your professional digital identity, your brand, okay, which is a part of your story, okay? And it's different than LinkedIn and better in a way for students because LinkedIn, for those of you who do know, you can upload videos, but it kind of gets buried in there. And the e-portfolio is really rich and dynamic as far as how it looks. It's also much more student-friendly and much more of an academic social media tool than just a professional one. It's a little more holistic. Yeah?
So in that regard, Carrie, is Portfolium another social media platform that they could use in lieu of LinkedIn? Like if they had the app for LinkedIn, they could use this instead?
They could.
Are there enough users that it's...
I would say they should use both.
Okay.
I would definitely say they should use both. LinkedIn is obviously, for those of you who know, and for those of you who don't, it is the number one professional social media site and platform. So I would say that this can complement it. And certainly when you have your personalized URL, you'll be able to include that on a resume. You'll be able to put that on your LinkedIn profile. So they kind of cross-reference each other. Yeah. Okay. The nice thing about this, too, is that, which you can't really do on LinkedIn, is you can collaborate in your Portfolium folio. So if you have group work, or you can comment on each other's projects and assignments, even if you didn't work on a group project with that person, you can comment and give feedback to your peers, which is really nice. In doing so, that's helping you to organize yourself because you are kind of curating and selecting which assignments and experiences that you want to showcase. And it's also helping with your communication skills. Because as you'll see, when we get to how do you add projects to your portfolio, you'll see that you're not just uploading a project, but you're actually going to be talking about that and describing the project too. Okay, so you're going to be enhancing your communication skills. And as I said, this is really about you because it's yours. So you want to take ownership in showcasing it's like your personal gallery. Okay? And hopefully that will improve your motivation while you are here and beyond. Questions there? One of the things I wanted to say, and this is a little repetitive, but you want to highlight I'm losing my voice. You want to highlight your proudest work here. This isn't a brain dump. This isn't a dumping ground. As much as you want to also incorporate your personal passions and your journeys and your challenges that you've experienced along the way and showcasing your growth and development, and certainly you learn by your failures, probably even more so than your successes at times. At the same time, you don't want to just put everything in there. This is a process of curating, selecting your best works and your most proud work. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so now we are actually going to access it. This is the hands-on part. Okay, so what I want you to do, for those of you who, I guess they have their laptops here, you're going to be going to your Canvas account, okay? Oh, I forgot about that. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to get on. So you're going to go to the left navigation menu, the global navigation menu on the left, and you're going to see your drop-down menu, and you're going to select Folio. This is what mine looks like. You likely will not have a picture. Okay? So yours, what you're going to do is you're going to click in the initials that are inside the circle. Okay? So I'll show you a different view. You're going to click here. So mine has my picture. Yours is probably just going to have your initials. So you're going to click that. Everyone there? Okay. Once you click it, it's going to bring up a screen that looks like this. Mine is already completed, so mine I cannot show you through mine, okay? But you're going to have an access screen. Is everyone seeing this screen here? Unless you've already created an account, we're there? Okay. So at this point, you're going to start to fill out the access information. I want to draw your attention to something here. Do not use your real birth date. Although your birth date does not show up on your portfolio, Instructure, who owns Canvas and other products, can use the birth date. So they do have their privacy policies, okay? But for privacy purposes here, do not use your real birth date, okay?
And they can use whichever email they...
I'm just getting to that.
Okay.
It's going to pre-populate with your Raritan Valley email address.
He's probably with his copy. That's why I was asking.
That's very strange. Did you
all
access
use
it through
this-
Canvas?
Did you all use this in Pathways to College Success?
If you did, that would be why it populated with a different email address, because you actually already have started a digital portfolio. For those who haven't, when you access it through Canvas, it's going to pre-populate with your Raritan Valley email address. Since most of you are graduating, am I correct on that?
Many are not.
Okay. If you're not graduating, you might want to keep your Raritan Valley email address, knowing that when you transfer or leave, graduate RVCC, you only have access to your Raritan Valley email address for about 6 months. So you would eventually want to go back and change in your settings, which I will show you how to do, your email address to a personal one that you can access at any time after you graduate, okay? So it really is up to you. For right now, do not join with Google or Facebook with those socials or email. And then if I can just get a hand raised when you finish completing your access information, then I have a sense of where you are.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you do personal email, because I don't know if I want to use this yet. Does it send you, I don't know, just a bunch of emails?
It does not. That is an excellent question. So if you use your personal email, does it send you a bunch of emails, ads, all sorts of things? It definitely does not. Good. If you're still a student here, we usually recommend that you use your Raritan Valley email address because you're going to be using it while you're here. However, if you're close to graduating, you're going to graduate in May, then you're likely not going to be using this in other courses. And so you can use a personal email address. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons why it's helpful to use your Raritan Valley address while you're here is for this purpose, which I was going to show you, and I will wait to show you once everybody's completed their account setup. Yes?
Should that account type be community college student or?
It doesn't really matter. That's a good question too, but the type of student you are, again, that doesn't really matter. They're collecting data on their users, but that it doesn't really matter too much. You're not being targeted for any purpose. So I just want to draw your attention to something which you will view when you sign into Portfolium from Canvas in the future, and I'll also show you once you are in your Portfolium account. This is wonderful and very different than using something like Wix, Squarespace, or any of the other platforms that might be out there because it works seamlessly and integrates beautifully with Canvas. So you will be able to directly import assignments that you have submitted in any active Canvas course. The downside is that if a professor closed a course, and let's say you took a course last semester or the semester before and you don't have access to that anymore, that doesn't work. We are trying to figure out a system for improving that issue. For right now, though, any course that is active that you are enrolled in on Canvas that you have access to, you can directly import assignments from. So for example, if you're taking a literature class, if you're taking a philosophy class, if you're taking a sociology class, whatever other classes outside of education you are enrolled in, you can import assignments, learning assignments and projects from those classes as well, as you should. Okay? And I'll show you again how to access that a different way once you are in Portfolium. But every time you log in, if you go in the way we just showed you, which was going through your account and the global navigation menu, you can see it there, and then I'll show you again in Portfolium. So, yes, so everyone should have a page that looks like this. Are we there? We have a page that looks like this. Your name is pre-populated. You have these different categories in here, and there is a URL that is auto-generated by Portfolium for you, which we will talk about because you can customize that. Okay? That's the nice thing is, for example, I believe with Wix, they give you a URL and it can't be customized from what I understand. This is nice because it can be customized. Okay? And we're going to show you how to do that too. Okay? So everyone is there. And we're going to get started with your settings and then your personal profile, okay? So the easiest way for me to show you how to do that is on mine. You are going, so your page looks like this. Well, not exactly because it hasn't been customized yet. You're going to go up to the circle here that says Me. And then you're going to see Settings. Oh, so you want to go to your settings, okay? So in the drop-down menu under the Me, you go to your settings. This is where you can customize all sorts of things, okay? You can upload, and you're going to be doing this as we are speaking. So you want to upload a photo, okay? So if you can upload a photo, that's on your laptop right now, you want to find a photo and upload something, you can always change it. But I want you to upload a photo, and it takes your standard image formats, JPEG, GIFs, and PNGs, okay? You also can choose a cover image. So as you saw before, on my profile, I chose this as my image. My cover image. You can search for free cover images on Google. And sometimes they're called banners, banner images, right? You can search for something. I will show you a sample here. Give me 1 second. So this person chose a beach as her banner image, okay? Again, this is something that you are trying to personalize. So right now you should be working on trying to find a banner image and a photo to get you started. For those of you who have already started to create your profile in a different portfolio in a different course, you may have already done your settings. You can adjust them if you need to. If you continue and you look at your settings, remember I said that you have your own URL that is auto-generated for you by Portfolium. So you see it's auto-generated. This is your, excuse me, like your website, okay? This is your personalized URL. The way that Portfolium works is it's just portfolium.com / and then whatever they auto-generate for you. You can change that by putting in a username. We do not want you to put in things like teddybear23 or anything like that. It should be probably close to your name, okay? So once you create the username that you want, you will see here, now it is portfolium.com / whatever username you chose. So you can personalize to a point what you want your URL to be, okay? So I want you to also select your username now. Question, why do you think that I chose the banner image that I chose? Let's go back to mine. Okay, why did I choose this banner image? Yeah. It shows who I am and what I do. Exactly. So the person who chose the beach obviously has a passion for the beach. However, there are certainly other portfolios, and I'm going to show you what some of those other portfolios are, that might be more professional in nature, right? That might choose a banner image that is that relates more to the field of education in some way. Okay? I would love it, however, if someone did share what banner image they chose. Okay, so I'm hoping you've done your banner image. And again, if you're not finishing it all today, that's absolutely fine. This is meant to get you started. But remember, your banner image and your photo are primarily the first thing that someone's going to see, an employer, okay? Or a transfer school or something like that. So you really want it to be representative of you. Okay, excuse me. So now what we're going to do is to set your privacy settings, okay? And so if I scroll down a little bit further, okay, you can see my birth date is 1929. So I'm pretty old. Your username, everyone's created their username to personalize their URL. Okay, your tagline. Your tagline, again, it really should be representative of you. It is the foundation of your creation of your personal brand, like on LinkedIn. So I put connecting college to career success. My theme is discover, develop, design, and deliver. You can put whatever you want in your tagline, and I'll give you some examples of some taglines as well. Okay? Okay. Your tagline. Okay. So tagline examples. Some people use inspirational quotes. You can use a personal inspirational quote that you find. You can use something that inspires you, or that has inspired you to become a teacher. There's famous teacher quotes that are out there that relate to education. I think Benjamin Franklin has one that's really popular. So some people will use inspirational quotes as their tagline. And some people will put in their tagline why they chose your why. Why did you choose teaching? You know, what kind of impact do you hope to make with the work that you do? Whether it's teaching, whether it's something else. That's why I put connecting college to career success, because that's my motivation. That's my why, okay? So your why is, you know, what's the value that you bring? Why did you choose education? And maybe that could be part of your tagline. A simple tagline, educator of tomorrow's leaders. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, okay? It's something that is, again, personal to you. So I want you to go ahead and create a tagline. I will ask again, it's sharing time. Does anyone want to share the tagline they chose? Yes.
I chose an anime quote, but even though it's an anime quote, it's inspiring. There's nothing cooler than letting a dream end midway.
There's nothing crueler than letting a dream end midway. Crueler. There's nothing crueler than ending a dream midway.
So it means that you're sticking to your dream of being a teacher, you're not being interrupted, you're going full speed ahead.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Anybody else? Yeah.
Big hearts shape little
Big
minds.
hearts shape little minds.
Did you write that?
No, I just saw it on Everywhere. I liked it.
Yeah, and it's okay. You, it doesn't have to, you know, if you see a quote or you see something else, you can use it as your tagline.
But you do have to cite it.
Yeah, I was you're jumping on it, and I was just going to say that. You know, you would put underneath there or in parentheses where you got it from. Okay?
Who said it originally?
Yes. Yeah, so for example, some people have in their email signatures quotes, and then they'll have a dash right next to it that says where that quote came
I don't
from.
think it's like a famous quote. I just see it on
If there's no way to cite it, then there's no way to cite it. It says Pinterest.
Or you can just do dash unknown.
You could, that is a very good idea. You could say dash unknown.
Okay.
Dash Pinterest. No.
I cannot.
I did not choose to connect my socials. I'm also not a big social media person. It's my age, I'm sure. But you can. So if you would like to somehow connect them, if you have an Instagram account and it's something that you care to connect, to link to, you can. LinkedIn, as we said before, you can do that. If you have a website already, you can link to that too. Okay? And then once you finish all of this and completing your account setup, you're going to click Update. Okay? From there, you're going to click again on your circle, your Me. Me is sort of where you can always go back to your settings and your profile. So now what we're going to do is you're going to start to develop your profile. Okay? This is an overview of the profile section. Okay? Your profile really on the left-hand side of your ePortfolio, your profile has an overview, which includes your education, your Raritan Valley education, your degree, the year you're graduating, and then it sort of populates as you are filling it in, okay? And we're going to talk about what you put in a profile. It will also give you your profile strength. So how many points are assigned as you are building your portfolio to make it look complete and as strong as possible. Your first step in your profile is your introduction. Now you will see mine, I don't have introduction on my categories because I already completed an introduction. You are going to click on the one that says Add Introduction. Your introduction is really just a short bio. So many times students will put, let me have someone's name. Have your name? Brenda. Brenda is currently working on her education degree at Raritan Valley Community College. She has a passion for such and such and such and such. In her spare time, she may do such and such and such and such. Okay? It's as simple as that. It's a short bio. It's literally, I believe, 120 characters. But this is really where you are going to sort of summarize who you are. And again, most students put their name, that they're studying education at Raritan Valley Community College, and then some of their passions there.
You wouldn't say I, like I am.
You probably, some students do say I. In documents like this, like a resume, a LinkedIn, and this may be less so, but usually in professional branding documents, you do not use the word I. Right, on a resume, you never use the word I. Okay? I would say this could go either way because in your assignments, you're going to be saying I. You're going to be reflecting on what you learned, how you learned it, how you're going to apply it or have applied it in other classes, in a field experience, etc. So I would say maybe in your intro, you could use the third person, and then in the rest of it, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Okay? There's no real clear answer about that, but there's a little more leeway because this is more of an academic tool than LinkedIn or a resume even. Okay?
Weird prompt.
It is a weird prompt. I would agree with that. I mean, I think they try and give users as much creative freedom as possible on how to introduce themselves, what have you. I hope to be,
Students recognize me as,
yes,
or see me as.
yes, yeah. That's a really good example. Does that make sense? So again, today, you're starting it, right? You're drafting it. This doesn't need to be the final version of it. You'll go back and you'll decide, well, wait a minute, maybe I think I want to say this a little differently. But this is meant to have you start to build this, okay? How does everybody feel about moving on? Can we move on? Yeah? Okay. How do I build my story, and what types of things should I put into an e-portfolio? Okay? So Portfolium calls these artifacts, okay? And we're going to go through what are some sample artifacts. It shows you the categories. As I said before, the categories are pre-populated here for you.
We use the language artifacts in this class.
Oh, perfect. Okay. It's evidence, right? It's evidence and documentation of how you have mastered learning, okay? How you have completed an assignment, how did you do that? So your educational content, and I'm going to give you samples of that on the next slide. Your professional content, your co-curricular activities, volunteer work, those are, in general, the types of artifacts that you're going to add, okay? So what does that look like more specifically? What is an artifact? Remember, Portfolium, and any digital portfolio, is meant to be visually appealing. So, yes, you can add PDFs. Yes, you can add docs, and you should. It's also helpful to add in logos, video, images, okay? You want it to be visually appealing as well. And so video demonstrations, if you've done service learning, if you have any pictures or video from your service learning experience, any honors and awards, and you can always get logos for that. Okay, if you're a member of Phi Theta Kappa, if you're a member of a club on campus, they have logos. And it just adds the visual element to your e-portfolio as you are populating all of that. Projects, papers, any research that you've done, okay? Lesson plans, I'm assuming you have some of those that you're going to be adding. Any original works. What might be other samples of assignments, maybe? Observation reports.
Personal philosophy of teaching and learning.
Service learning. It's going. This one's going too.
That's fine. Their philosophy of teaching. What? Yeah, two down. Exactly.
This one's going too.
Honest to God.
Service learning.
It might just be this board.
It could be, yeah. Service learning, and what was the other one?
Observation reports and their philosophy.
Oh, philosophy. Personal philosophy.
Now they're dying. The markers are dying. The markers are dying.
Personal teaching philosophy. Anything else?
These are both dead. Of course, lesson plans, their open pedagogy project from Foundations.
Okay. And again, this is a little bit more specific, things that you might not think about. Letters of recommendation. So at your field experience, for example, if you have a letter of recommendation or from a teacher, certainly as you're applying to transfer schools, you want to get letters of recommendation if that's in your plan of action for the future. So oftentimes students don't think about that, but a letter of recommendation can certainly go in there. And it speaks to your character. It can speak to your academic performance in a way that an assignment doesn't. As we talked about, activities, volunteer work, your personal interests and hobbies, leadership, if you have leadership activities, okay, or you're a member of a leadership society, any awards. If anyone has learned a new skill on their own, some people learn a foreign language on their own. That's something that you can put in there, okay?
Encouragement to hobbies too.
Yes, personal interests and hobbies, absolutely. Your workshops that if you've attended workshops on and off campus, Any certifications or badges, obviously your resume, and you're gonna be able to see how to do that as well. Okay? Any questions about that? I'm also going to send this PowerPoint, so you'll have it for reference too, if you need to go back to it. Okay?
And just an FYI, Carrie, it's 11.
Thank you.
This clock is completely wrong.
Okay, no problem. So students often ask, oh my God, there's so much. Which category should I start with? I usually say to students, start with your courses, the courses that you're currently enrolled in, and any clubs and volunteer work, okay? Those are the easiest categories, I think, to start to populate. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to show you how to add a project and edit a project so you can start to see the portfolio section, which is really where your projects go, okay? So at this point, what I want you to do is to start to add your courses, your clubs, and volunteer work. And again, I'm going to show you. So here, I click the Add a Course. There's probably not an image for your course. You put the title of your course, Foundations of Education. I know that's not this class. You put a description of what the course is. Now, sometimes students forget how to describe a class. I do want to show you on the RVCC website, there is a way to get course descriptions. Obviously, you can go into the catalog, but this is a very easy way. If you go under academic programs and you go all the way to the left to course outlines. So I don't know if anyone here knows that there is a course outline. It's sort of like a universal syllabus for every course the college offers, okay? So let's say we know it's Foundations of Education, so I'm going to go to E for education, okay? And I'm going to be looking for the education courses. I got to scroll down a little bit here. Here's Foundations of Education. So I'm clicking on that course, or that course outline, and here I can get the summary of the course, okay? From a PDF, it's a little tough, but you can. I think there's a way that you can do that. You wouldn't want to put the prerequisites in or anything like that. So you can copy it. Let me see if that will work. Yep, there you go. Okay, and
You would just want to say from the Raritan Valley Academic Catalog, RVCC catalog.
yeah. Okay, and then you would click Save Changes. Okay? So I would want you to start adding your courses. Why don't you start with your education courses? Now again, you might forget. You might not remember everything that you have taken so far. So you might have to go into your course history to do that, which you can do so in the Lion's Den. Okay? Does everybody know how to, or in Canvas actually, you can go and you can see the courses that you were in throughout your time at RVCC. Okay, so I want you to start by adding your education courses.
While they're doing this, Carrie, can I ask?
You could upload your transcript, but it doesn't really mean anything it shows your grades. That's what I was saying before. The nice thing about this is that you can actually connect your courses to skills and competencies, and you can, in your assignments that you upload, explain what you learned. How you would do something differently the next time, how you would apply what you learned to a future work setting or internship. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that. If you finish going through your courses, again, as I said before, you would also want to add your clubs, okay, and your volunteer work. And again, on the RVCC website, oh, it's probably going to make me, oh good, it didn't make me sign in. if I go to clubs, you'll also be able to get you can get logos too. So if you go to clubs in the Lion's Den, and I'm just going to pick an academic club, and I chose, I don't know, Educators Rising. There's a logo there. Let's say you're on the debate team. Well, that's going to have a visual. And so when you go back and you are adding your clubs and activities, that's where you can add an image. You can add a logo. Okay? And obviously, yeah.
Can you, in the description,
Mm-hmm.
or below the description,
Mm-hmm.
can you link to another location in your portfolio?
Yes,
So
you can.
if you uploaded all of your course outlines,
Mhm.
and you uploaded all of your course syllabi, you can link to them in this description space?
You could. You can provide links in your descriptions. That's a good.
I'm just thinking from the perspective of a student that's getting ready to transfer into the program,
Mhm.
when they're doing a degree audit at their new school, and the school's like, well, I'm not sure if this class would really substitute or not. You need to get me a copy of the course syllabus or a course outline. If a student has it right here,
Mhm.
then it answers, 59 questions all at once.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, because that would be helpful for a lot of students, not just the education students. So I'm still learning too, right? Lifelong learning. And I want to leave some time to show you how to add a project as well, but I'm going to give you just a couple more minutes to continue working on adding your courses, your clubs, and your volunteer work too.
It's 11:11 here.
I know, I'm giving you 2 minutes. Any questions as we're kind of working here?
Go ahead, Brenda.
For like volunteer work, how recent or like long ago can like the volunteer work?
So what year are you here? Second year?
Yes.
Third year? If it is something that's really relevant that you participated in high school that has to do with your professional goals and maybe influences and something that's really shaped you and your journey, then I would say you can include a high school club. In general, though, you're not going to go back probably further back than junior year. Does that make sense? Good question. Okay. This is probably what you're most interested in, which is how do I even add these artifacts? How do I add these projects to kind of populate my portfolio, okay? And again, the easiest way to do that is by showing you mine, okay? It's very easy to do. There's actually several different places in Portfolium to do that. You can see a big project here, a big project button, I should say, here. You can also go right to your portfolio section, and there's Add New Project. So there's 2 different ways to do it. Now, let me show you what that looks like, because this is where you're really going to integrate those skills and competencies. So I selected Create New Project, Add New Project. You're going to add a project title, okay? You are then going to upload whatever file it is or paste a link to whatever video or image or what have you that you have created that you want to link to, okay? There are many different formats. The nice thing about this, too, is if you have Google Drive or Dropbox and you have culminated a bunch of different projects, papers, documents, labs, whatever it is along the way, and they are all there, you can also directly link to Google Drive as well, okay? Then you're actually going to type a category, Okay, so let's say for this one, and there's all sorts of things in here. Let's say for this one I chose education as my category, and it was special education. I give a description of this project. So what was it, okay? Instead of just saying what it was, one of the most important pieces of an e-portfolio is to say what you learned. What did you learn from that project? Okay? And how did you learn it? And maybe,
What does this sound like?
what does it sound like?
Their rationale statements. And this is what I was thinking the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, they could do their rationale statements right in here.
Oh, perfect. So what did you learn? How did you learn it? Why was it valuable to you? Now, why was it valuable is going to be different. How can you apply it to your personal life, your academic life, your professional life? There are different ways that something can be meaningful and valuable to you. It doesn't just have to be for a job. Okay? Here we go. This is where you're going to add skills to your projects. Okay? And it will populate. Let's say I put in writing. As soon as I type in writing, certain things come up. Okay? And that does vary sometimes based on the, and I spelled writing wrong because I don't have my glasses on. They're on top of my head. There we go. So there we go. So there are certain things that will come up. In this case, I'm writing, writing reflection. Okay? Here is where you can tag teammates if you choose to do so. Here is where you can add personal tags. Okay, let's say hashtag education. And that is going to help employers and students and other people on the Portfolium network find your projects. Because, I'm going to show you here, whenever you see the gear, those are your project visibility settings. Just like your entire portfolio has customizable privacy settings. You can make it public. You can make it only, bless you, you can make it only visible to Portfolium users. You can make it only visible to people you connect with on Portfolium. You can make it completely private, which I don't recommend. You can also customize your individual project settings, and each project can have different settings too. Here, especially if you are submitting a portfolio assignment for a class, you don't want it to be private unless, if I select private, it gives me a public share link. You can share that link inside Canvas, and then only the person who has that link can view it. What's easiest, though, is to say anybody that's on Portfolium can view it, or I make mine public because it doesn't matter to me if people see my work. It doesn't matter, okay? But you have a choice here as to how visible you want your projects to be. Now, under comments, you also have a choice. Do you want people to be able to comment on your work? I have pre-selected allow anyone on Portfolium to comment on my project. Okay? You can uncheck that box. Yes? Sure. That's an excellent question. The reason I didn't show you there is because it gets confusing for people. You can add projects in lots of different ways on Portfolium. So you can add a project right within a course, but I usually say to put it in the portfolio section itself. It's much cleaner looking that way.
Okay, so it doesn't automatically just go into the portfolio section?
If you add it in your courses, it will go automatically in there. If you go into, if you add a project, so for example, this is a great question. Let me see here. I'm just going to show you my, let's see. See, I added this into my portfolio section, okay? So when I go into my profile, I guess I didn't add courses. It doesn't go anywhere into there. It doesn't go anywhere into my profile. It's just in the portfolio section, okay? If you add things here, like in your introduction, you certainly can do that. I find that it gets a little cluttered when it's there. I think it's cleaner looking when it's all inside the portfolio. But you can. That's why they kind of give you the option to say, do I want my projects to be visible in my course section or right in my portfolio? It's up to you, but I personally think it looks cleaner when it's just in the portfolio. Okay? So you saw how to add a project. It's very easy to do. And you saw how to customize your visibility under the gear, under settings. Any questions about that before I quickly show you how to share your projects? No? Okay. This is also very easy to do. You will see a share icon. When you share a project, you can share it to Twitter if you want. You can embed it. The easiest way to do it, and the most, I guess, popular way to do it, is to copy the link to the project, and then you would share that link out. So I want to make it clear, you can share individual projects, you can share your entire portfolio. And the visibility is customizable. You can make some projects private, you can make some projects public, where people can put comments on them. It's very much a personal choice. There's a lot of choice in your privacy settings. Yes?
If a student puts up a project
Yes.
and they put their visibility as anyone in portfolio or public,
Yes.
say for example, I'm just thinking a couple of these students in this class were in my foundations class last semester and worked on a project together. But one of their group mates is not in this class. But what if she wanted to access the project and didn't have access to her classmates? You know, she forgot their text number, whatever. If she's connected to them on Portfolium and they made their projects visible to anyone on Portfolium or public, then she can go in and find the project
Yes.
there and use it for her own.
Yes. She can.
Okay.
I guess that's it, huh? The time went by so fast.